Hello, everyone. I'm Ruxi, and welcome again to our YouTube channel. Third team that we analyze after Mjällby in Sweden and after Bayern Munich. And now it's time for Como. We go today to Italy to take a look to Cesc Fàbregas' team. They are sensation in Europe. They are now in sixth position. In Serie A, they are playing great football. They are a very interesting team. I think we will dive in what they do, but in terms of build up, I think is one of the best teams in Europe, if not the best. I think they have a lot of solutions in the build up, and well, they also have a lot of young players that they have bought from very cheap prices, interesting prospects. And well, I think Cesc Fàbregas is doing a great job. I think we will see him probably soon in one of the best clubs in Europe. We will see that. Future will tell, and also many young players like Nico Paz, Alex Valle, Perrone, players like this that we will probably see later also in bigger teams. But Como they are doing also a lot of, they're investing a lot of money into their squad, and I think during next years they will probably be in the top six in Italy. They are already now in this top six, but yeah, probably we will also see them in the future fighting for this position with Roma, with Milan, with Inter, with Napoli, all these teams that they are almost every year there. So yeah. Let's start to talk about them. Let's go to talk about the lineup first. The most common lineup, it's Butes in goal. A very interesting goalkeeper. We will talk about him later, but so calm in terms of build-up. He also has a very good distribution in long, and it's a very interesting goalkeeper. He's playing well. Diego Carlos and Jacobo Ramon, they are the two center backs. We remember Diego Carlos, he was before in Aston Villa, and Jacobo Ramon, they bought him for only 2.5 million from Real Madrid. I'm not sure. I'm sure about Nico Paz that Real Madrid has an option to buy him back. I'm not sure about Jacobo Ramon, but yeah, also he's playing very, very well. Even in Como, they say that they wanted to wait a bit more for him, but he's already playing and performing so well. So yeah, another interesting prospect, in this case from Real Madrid, Alex Valle, the left back. He used to play for in Barça Academy. They also bought him for a very cheap price, for 6 million only, a player who was before in Celtic Glasgow. And yeah, I think it's an important player for them. We can see how he operates wide, but he also moves inside, especially in the half spaces. He has a bit of a free role in some situations. He's a bit more offensive than the right fullback, Smolcic, who is more of a fullback, more center back type of player. He's less offensive than Alex Valle. He's a bit more of a physical profile in terms of he's more like he's taller and he's a bit stronger, but Alex Valle is a much more dynamic player, much faster probably, and yeah. The two midfielders, D'Acunha and Perrone. D'Acunha is that player that he used to be already in Como when they were in Serie B, if I'm not wrong, and in the Athletic, in the podcast of the Athletic, they had the Como's owner talking about the D'Acunha case, no? That data say that he was not probably a top player for them, and they were hesitating if to keep him on the team or not. And then they spoke with Cesc, and Cesc said, yeah, he's not a winger. I will use him more of a midfielder, and he did so with him. Especially he still in some situations played as a winger. I'm talking more about last season, but it was in this 4-2-2-2 that wingers come inside and they are having more of a midfielder role or a player between the lines. But now D'Acunha this season is already playing as a midfielder. Alongside Perrone, who for me is an incredible player. Last season he was on loan from City, But now they bought him for 13 million from City. I think very cheap because he's only 22 years old. Alex Valle is 21, if I'm not wrong, yeah. Jacobo Ramon is 20, so we can see already what kind of players they have. And yeah, Perrone for me is a very intelligent player. He's many times he plays one touch, so he's already aware of what's going on between the lines in front of him, so Nico Paz or Morata, and he has this ability to scan and to turn his body profile to play one touch forward, which for me is fantastic. He also plays a lot of progressive passes, and he's a player that he's also very committed in terms of defense. He always give balance to the defensive line. And in terms of box defending, we will speak about this later. And yeah, Nico Paz, we all know him. He's now the one of the top scorers in Serie A. He also has many assists. He's a very interesting player, young prospect, also coming from Real Madrid. They bought him only for 6 million. I think Real Madrid has an option to buy him back. I heard some rumors these last weeks that maybe they decide to take him back to Real Madrid. We will see. We have one of the parts of our analysis is we watch Nico Paz closely, like how he operates between the lines. So we will see clips later. But yeah, he's a great player in playing between the. He doesn't need like other number 10s to maybe drop deeper and participate more as a midfielder. No, he's more of a player who operates between the lines, and that when he receives, he can put players into the space in behind with some great pass, and yeah, he has this kind of quality. He also likes to move a bit to the right side a lot. Not only operate between more central between the lines, he also moves a lot in the right side. And yeah, in the wings we have Jesus Rodriguez, also a very young player who came last season in Betis. He started to play very, very well. He was coming from the Real Betis Academy. That was one of the most expensive players they bought for 22 millions, but he's also very young, 20 years old only. And in the right, Adai, they bought him from AZ Alkmaar from Eredivisie. In his case, it was 14 million. He's also 20 years old, very young. And yeah, we will see after when we speak about the players that they are participating a bit less. But yeah, there are other cases like Diao, Kuhn, which they signed them, like wingers also, that they are quite young. So yeah, I think they look for this kind of 1v1 wingers, quite fast and young players. And then Morata in front. So yeah, Morata also obviously he can attack space, but he's also an important player in terms of deep build up to do this kind of 4-2-2-2, but in this case with the two strikers, or the striker Morata and the advanced midfielder Nico, or number 10 Nico Paz, no, with these two players dropping a bit deep for then the wingers attack the space. We will speak about this also later. But in terms of players that they have also participate quite much, we have Kempef, the one of the center backs. He has been participating a lot also in Diego Carlos' position at times, also in Jacobo Ramon position. Then we have Posch, this player that I remember him from the season when he was in Bologna with Thiago Motta. He was right back there, and yeah, as we remember, Thiago Motta also used his fullbacks more inside, compared to other teams, because he used Calafiori more as a midfielder. So then he needed this balance from the fullback instead of pushing the fullbacks up. But of course, Posch is also a player who can do a bit of both roles, and yeah, he can also come in the right back position. Then you have Boda, who's also a similar player in terms of that he can also participate as a right back, similar to Smolcic, but he can also play as a winger. I have seen him playing as a winger in the start of the season in a game against Fiorentina, more in a winger right wing back position, let's say like this. You have Alberto Moreno. You probably all remember him, but yeah, Alex Valle is playing almost all minutes. Very little participation from Alberto Moreno. Then Sergi Roberto, he started the season playing also, but he's now injured. He played in Dacuña's position, but yeah, now he's injured. Maxime Caqueret, who is a player that I used to follow a lot also in Lyon, that for me is one of my favorite players. He also plays sometimes in Dacuña's position. I think Perrone usually is always starting. And yeah, also right midfielder who at times moves to that space that leaves free Alex Valle, because Alex Valle, as we spoke, he has kind of a free role. He push up into a higher zone, so that opens space for Caqueret to move wide and then organize a bit the game from there. Baturina, he's an advanced midfielder. They bought him from Dinamo Zagreb, if I'm not wrong, 18 million. He's 22 years old, another young prospect. He plays in Nico Paz position, and Nico Paz has been key for Como, so he hasn't been participating much, but another interesting player. Diao, that he used to play in Betis, another player they take from Betis, left winger. He used to start a lot of games at the beginning of the season, but now he got injured, so he's not participating. But yeah, they signed him for 12 million. He's also 20 years old, another young winger. And then Kuhn, if I say it well, German player. I only saw him playing more in left winger position. He's a bit different maybe from the other wingers, because he can also he likes to move inside, so he likes to operate a bit more in between the lines. And the game I saw from him, I think it was against Fiorentina also, and Alex Valle on this game, he overlapped more than push inside and stay in the pocket, because of Kuhn being more of a pocket player. But yeah, I need to see him more. I only saw him one game. In Transfermarkt it says he's a right winger, so I put it here as a right winger. And then Dubicas, you might remember him from Celta de Vigo in La Liga. He did well, and Como bought him for 14 million. Also, he's 26 years old, and he's a replacement for Morata. So let's go now to watch some stats from Como to understand what they are doing already in this beginning of the season in Serie A. As we say, they are 6 on the table. They have 12 after 12 matches. They won 5 games. They drew 6, and they only lost 1 game. So they have 21 points. The expected points, why Scout says, is 20.3. They have scored 17 goals, and they have only conceded 7 goals. We can see that only Roma have conceded less goals than them, but Milan, Napoli, Inter, Juventus, Lazio, they all have received more goals than them. It's true that in terms of scoring, they are not one of the main teams with more goals, because we have Inter there with 26, we have Bologna with 21, Napoli with 19, but still 17 goals in 12 games, not bad. And this is something interesting. They are the 3rd team in Serie A with lowest average age. So only 25.3. Only Parma and Cagliari, they have a younger squad. But yeah, if we compare it to the top clubs like Milan, Napoli, Inter, I think they are teams that their players are much older. We can remember in the case of Inter, that many of the players they have, they are already in an older age, compared to teams like Como, that they have players like what we spoke about, Alex Valle, 21 years old, Nico Paz, 21 years old, Perrone, 22. These are usually players that they are starting in every game. So yeah, gives a lot of credit to Como for playing with a lot of young players and still performing well. Then in terms of ball possession, they are the team with more possession in Serie A, in front of Inter. Small difference, but in front of Inter, Juventus, Bologna, Napoli, Roma, Milan, we all know Allegri is not maybe a coach that wants to, or he's so worried about keeping possession. But yeah, they are the team with more possession in Serie A. And when we talk about the high pressing intensity, as I have spoke about the PPDA many times, the passes permitted per defensive action, and they only allow 7.5 passes before doing a defensive action, before intercepting, before doing a tackle, before a duel. So yeah, they have lowest even or highest pressing intensity than Roma. We all know Gasperini and his man-to-man oriented system. And well, I think Como, they are a bit different in terms of high pressing intensity. They don't go man-to-man. But what is the press after losing the ball is incredible. We will see it later, how they when they lose the ball, many players, they approach the ball possession and they try to get the ball back as soon as possible. And yeah, their wingers, they are very committed also in terms of defending. Also Morata, even Nico Paz, he has to make a lot of efforts in terms of defensive work. So yeah, we can see that how they are one of the most pressing teams, not only in Serie A, in Europe's 5 big leagues. So yeah, until here a bit the introduction. We will go now through every concept that I want to speak today. Let's start. Okay, so first we will talk about the deep build-up and the different solutions they have. First, we will talk especially about the wide center back, how they move one of the center backs a bit more wider than the other, and they push the left fullback higher up to create this kind of a back four with the goalkeeper participating more as a center back, let's say like this, in this line of four, something similar to what Enzo Maresca does on with Chelsea. So yeah, let's take a look. So yeah, it's important to understand here that against Napoli, they are in a man-to-man situation. We can see like almost everyone man-to-man. And then there's one player, the player from Diego Carlos, that I think is Højlund, that steps to the goalkeeper. So what they try to do with this is they try to increase the distance for Højlund, that when the ball arrives to Diego Carlos, he cannot arrive there. He cannot do this double role of pressing the center back and the goalkeeper. Let's take a look. You can see here Alex Valle, how he push up and then creates this space for Diego Carlos to move up. So now Diego Carlos is free and Højlund cannot track back him. So now you have a numerical advantage because Diego Carlos can drive, and then another player needs to step out to Diego Carlos, and then you can start to find the free player. So yeah, and they do it kind of dynamically. So no, it's something they do during the play. It's not that they when there is a goal kick, they already move and do this. No, when the player steps to the goalkeeper, then the center back starts to move wider and the fullback push higher up. Another example, we can see here already. In this case, they are switching the play, switching the ball to try to play to the other side. But we can see how Højlund is stepping again to the goalkeeper. The distance from Diego Carlos to the goalkeeper is quite big. So it gives time to Vouté, the goalkeeper, to play this third man for Perrone and then find the center back. And now there is another player who needs to step to Diego Carlos, who is the direct opponent that he was with Perrone. And now you can find Perrone inside. Of course, Højlund here already he track back, and it's not that easy. And nowadays in modern football, players track back. Many strikers track back quite fast. So yeah, we can see what I say before, that yeah, right now goalkeeper and center back, they are almost in the same distance. Fullback is already pushing a bit higher up than the other fullback, Alex Valle. But we can see how Højlund starts to step, and then Diogo Carlos starts to move. Fantastic. And then now they can progress, because for Højlund, that's a lot of meters, a lot of energy. And then you see they already beat their pressure. Let's watch it again. This one is interesting. So yeah, basically everyone is man-to-man. You can see in the picture that everyone is man-to-man, and the only thing they are doing, they are simplifying this situation, is just increasing the distance between center back and goalkeeper for Højlund to then play Diego Carlos, and then it's a lot of energy for Højlund to cover all this distance. And yeah, when this happens, Napoli is already not going man-to-man anymore, or they are delaying a bit the attack. So one more, last one, I think. Again, same. But now, in this case, Diego Carlos plays back to the goalkeeper, and for Højlund, he will not step again, because it's a huge distance. So he gives time to Butes to step forward, and then from here he can put sorry, let's check again. Yeah, I think the clip ends here, sorry. But yeah, basically in this situation, what Como ends up doing is putting a long ball to the wingers, or to Morata. That is something we will speak also later. But yeah, in this kind of situation, it's interesting how, again, they do the same. Diego Carlos moves higher and then decides to pass back, and Højlund doesn't go anymore to press the goalkeeper, because he feels like it's not worth to press the goalkeeper. So yeah, let's go now to the second one. So now we will speak about, let's get it like this, maybe better, about midfielders in the manipulating man-to-man oriented systems like Fiorentina here. And we can see all midfielders, the two midfielders and the advanced midfielder, Nico Paz, moving to the same zone and opening a straight passing line for Morata. Okay, the two wingers are giving the depth and the width almost. And yeah, in this case, by moving here, they open a straight passing line, because the Fiorentina players, they follow man-to-man. So yeah, they kind of manipulate them to open this passing line for Morata, who is a player who can hold up. He can hold the ball and then get a free kick and help Como to progress. So this is a clip from last season, but I wanted to add it here because it's the same idea. I think this is against Atalanta, who is another team that press man-to-man. And yeah, they do basically the same. We can see this 4-2-2-2, the typical 4-2-2 that everyone is using nowadays from when De Chervi started to do it in Brighton. And yeah, they are using it too with the striker and Nico Paz dropping to deep zones. And yeah, we can see here again the two midfielders very close to each other in the same zone, manipulating their direct opponents. And yeah, and we can see the two wingers here. We can see how they are very wide. And yeah, they are in a 1v1 situation that we will speak about this later. So yeah, another example of the midfielders. This in this case is against, if I'm not wrong, is against Bologna. Yeah, let's check it again. Yeah. In this case, it's not the striker who drops to that space, but we can see again, the center back has the ball. We can see the two midfielders quite close to each other in the same zone, let's say like this, and how they manipulate their direct opponents. So look the space in the middle. So this is a space that either the striker, usually is the striker who occupies this space, but in this case, is Alex Valle from the left back that we spoke about him, that he has kind of a free role. Later we will speak more deeper about Alex Valle, but yeah, let's take a look how he gets the ball from the midfielder here and then helps the team to progress. And yeah, it's almost a chance. The last pass is missing in that situation, but very interesting clip also on how the two midfielders move to the same zone to manipulate their direct opponents, and then Alex Valle receives in this zone. So now we're gonna talk about, this is kind of a something quite special, quite unique that Como does, that they try to simplify the first phase of the deep build-up with the two center backs and the goalkeeper in this 3v2 against the opposition, especially against, well, in Serie A, almost all teams go man-to-man, or many. So we can see what they do. I kind of call it to this minimalist build-up, or say it however, or I don't know. They, at the end, what they try to do is to simplify this build-up and give space to that players to play this 3v2. So yeah, we can see how they push the fullbacks, how they push the midfielders, they push all to the same zone, and the opposition follows them. So yeah, now they have this 3v2 here. The goalkeeper starts to progress with the ball, and then one of the midfielder drops to that free space, huge space. We are talking about like maybe 30 meters, something like this, of space for some players to drop. I think in this case it's Caqueret, one of the midfielders, that he ends up, helping the team to progress, and it's already, they are already playing in the front foot. So yeah, I will show another, in this case, one photo, which we can see, that they do the same against Napoli, in Napoli Stadium. The same, they try to divide the team in two, let's say like this, and simplify this 3v2. And yeah, once they do this, they have different solutions to solve this situation. One of them, I will add it here because I don't have it, but yeah, we will watch it now. This one. Yeah, this is a bit different than the last one, but at the end, it's like the fullbacks, they are pushing also quite high. The midfielders, they are also giving space for this 3v2, and in this case, it's Jacobo Ramon, the player who, when David Neres, the striker of Napoli, steps to the goalkeeper, he gives a support in front for the goalkeeper to receive free. And because the midfielders and the rest of the team, they are staying higher up on the pitch, they are dragging the opposition players with them, and then that gives space for Jacobo Ramon to receive. This is something we have seen also doing in La Liga with Elche from Eder Sarabia. So yeah, let's go now to talk about the fourth concept. We're going to talk now about the third man situations. I think they are one of the best teams in terms of activating the third man when someone steps to the goalkeeper. Take a look. I think Perrone is fantastic on this. He's very smart, and he knows when to. he knows when to move to play this third man situation. Great timing always. They have a lot of solutions for this kind of pressing situations. So yeah, we can see this against Fiorentina. I think this is minute 1 of the game against Fiorentina, and how well they do it. They find the free center back, and then they can play with their front players. Again, we can see here. I'm not sure if it's Caqueret or I think it might be Caqueret in this case. When Ned steps, he plays Jacobo Ramon, and then Jacobo Ramon, one touch, plays in front with the fullback. Fantastic. This is a fantastic build-up. And then again, they can play with their front players. Same again. In this case, it's Perrone finding the free center back. Let's watch it again. How sometimes they are in the same vertical line, the two midfielders. But yeah, they do it so well. And this is another third man play, but a bit different. As I have spoken that many teams, sometimes they are starting to step to the goalkeeper frontally. So in this case, the one who's going to step to the goalkeeper is a midfielder or a player who is with Perrone, with Como's midfielder. So he steps to the goalkeeper frontally, cover shadowing Perrone. But Como has also solutions for this. They play more of I have called it more of a vertical third man play, more in a central third man play. How the two midfielders connect between them, because the free player is Perrone, but it's very difficult to access to Perrone because the Fiorentina player is stepping out, cover shadowing him. So yeah, they do this third man play. Fantastic. I spoke about Perrone playing one touch. He already he can anticipate what's going to happen. So for me, he's a fantastic player. So yeah, they play Morata. Morata gives the ball back, and then they attack the space with the wingers. That's their idea, basically. So in the deep build-up, it's again like a kind of we can see here in this picture before Morata plays back to one of the midfielders or to Nico Paz to attack the space with the wingers. That's the idea, this 4-2-2-2. So yeah, with very fast wingers, with Morata and Nico Paz dropping deep, and yeah, trying to create spaces for the wingers, 1v1 situations. So yeah. Let's go now and talk about Butes, their goalkeeper, and how the Como is able to play under pressure, and yeah, how calm they are in this kind of situation. That's one of the reasons I suggest they are one of the best teams in terms of deep build-up. Because we see here, probably the idea was first to try to play a third man, but the player from Napoli adjusts that and tries to intercept that pass from Perrone to Diego Carlos. He anticipates a bit the situation, but Perrone is able to give back to the goalkeeper, and Butes plays then to Diego Carlos. So it's fantastic. So even you could say, okay, in this situation, we need to play the third man, and that's all. Yeah, but if the Napoli players, if the opposition adjust their pressing, you need to be able to find other solutions, and in this case, they can readjust it well. So he plays back, and then they play to Diego Carlos, and yeah, they try to progress from wide zones. You see, the ball ends up in Morata, and yeah, then Morata's layoff is not good, but yeah. And then Boutet, the goalkeeper, for me, he's so calm with the ball. He's very good. He has a good long pass also, and yeah, for me, it's one of the keys that Como are able to build up with this patience, with this composure. Again, this one is amazing. If you have a goalkeeper like this, everything is more easy. How he drives a bit and plays to Nico Paz in this case, and the next one is very similar. Again, how he waits. He's able to play under pressure. Amazing. So yeah, seems easy, but with just 2 passes, they are in the front foot with the winger receiving in wide zone. So yeah, we're gonna speak now. We're going for the 6th concept already. We're gonna talk now about the long, more direct build-up, because they have also solutions in long. So one of the solutions is look for these kind of situations with Morata. Yeah. And lay off for Nico Paz. So Nico Paz anticipates well this kind of balls. Take a look. Pass to Morata. Morata lays off for Nico Paz, and then they attack with the wingers, plus Alex Valle in this case. Another example, long ball from Butes to Morata. Great ball, by the way. And Nico Paz already anticipates where the second ball will go to receive, and then put the wingers in 1v1 situations. Another solution they have for long build-ups, this is a very common solution also from the Jervis teams in Olympique Marseille and also in Brighton. This also Bayern does something similar, and we spoke about the 4-2-2-2 that they play. In this kind of situation, they try to find the fullback pushing up and the winger moving inside to create this space for the fullback in wide zones. Another example. Same. Winger will move inside and ball for the fullback higher up. And here they have like a 2v2 situation, which is not a bad one if you don't have solutions to play short, or it's difficult to play short because the opposition they are coming to press aggressively. They also have solutions in long. In this case, this one with the wingers moving in and the fullbacks pushing up. And let's go now for the 7th one. Yeah, in this case, we're going to talk about the midfielders moving wide, especially wrong-footed midfielder, let's say like this, because in the left side is Caqueret, who is right-footed, who moves to that space to be able to play inside balls, because with his body profile, he has better angles to play with his right foot, to play progressive passes. The same for Perrone in the left. So Caqueret moves wide. Alex Valle, as we spoke, moves to the half space and runs in behind. So yeah, Caqueret receives free, and he, with his right foot, he can play to Morata inside and find this kind of pass. Again, we can see Perrone in this case here in the right side. We can see here how he, with his left foot, he can play one touch, as we spoke about Perrone, one touch always. Play Morata, and this clip we saw it before, but I wanted to explain this, that is something common that they do. The midfielders move wide, more into this fullback position. Another example, same. Alex Valle runs to the half space, and Caqueret opens here, and with his right foot, he can play a progressive ball to Morat. Also, the thing that Alex Valle moves higher up creates also a bit of hesitation into the defense. We can see that the Cagliari center back stops following Morata because maybe he thinks he wants to protect space from Alex Valle. I don't know. But yeah, we can see how they use this solution with the midfielders moving wide. But yeah, Caqueret does it in the left because he can receive with his right. He can play inside passes with his right foot, and in the other side is Perrone who does that because he can play inside balls with his left foot. Let's continue to talk now about the fullbacks in the half spaces. I think it's something very, very common in Como, in Cesc Fàbregas teams. We have seen also Bayern in the last analysis we have here in YouTube, also using the fullbacks in the half spaces, and especially in teams where you have wide wingers that they are comfortable playing in wide zones and attacking the spacing behind. So it's more common to see the fullbacks maybe underlapping more than overlapping. So yeah, it's the case of Alex Valle and Smolcic in the right side, or Vojvoda, who has been also playing, or Posh. So they are fullbacks that they are more operating in the half spaces. And yeah, as we spoke, with Alex Valle being more of a threat in behind, also a player who has a more of a free role, not only stays in the half spaces, but also attacks the spacing behind in the last line sometimes. We'll see here. We can see the two fullbacks, Alex Valle and Smolcic against Napoli. We can see how Smolcic is in the half space, and how I think it's Adai receives wide next to the sideline, and how Smolcic tries to run in behind in that space. And yeah, now we see Alex Valle in the left, how he's in the half space, giving the wide zones for Diao. And attacking the spacing behind. It's also a zone where Nico Paz operates at times. So yeah, this run from Alex Valle can help Nico Paz to have more time and space. So let's watch again. I could put many clips, but I thought it was good only to put one clip to show how usually the fullbacks, and we have seen other clips where how Alex Valle plays, and he's a player who can attack the spacing behind. He's more offensive than the right back, and Como already knows that they give him more of a free role. We can see obviously the Como's fullbacks sometimes also overlapping, but it's less common. Let's watch now the wingers in 1v1 situations to the space. Something that, yeah, it's really clear that the kind of wingers Cesc Fàbregas likes, wingers that they are good in 1v1 situations, that they are fast, that they can attack the spacing behind. So yeah, we can see here in the 4-2-2-2 how the wingers attack the spacing behind, and they are in a 2v2 situation, 1-against-1 situation. Another example. We can see in this case Jesus Rodriguez, how attacks the space in behind. Great ball from Butes. I say it already many times that he has a very good long range pass. These are more deep build-up situations, but now we are going to see one situation, one transition situation with this goal. I think they won against Fiorentina with this goal from Adai, if I'm not wrong. This player, we spoke about him, that they signed him from AZ Alkmaar. Yeah, let's watch again, how they play him to the space. And he has good 1v1 situation to end up in a goal. Now let's go with Nico Paz. Let's see what kind of player he is. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, that he likes to move, or I think it's also part of the plan of Cesc Fàbregas, that Nico Paz is allowed to move to these wide zones, knowing that also that in this case, in the right side, Smolcic, the right back, is more a player who can stay also a bit back, like more to create a back three, leaving this space for Nico Paz, and with the winger also running in behind. We can see here Nico Paz between the lines, how he receives, and he knows that Morata is behind him. That's world class. Another example, check how he's scanning all the time, and check this ball for his teammate, which again, because it's high class. I think every ball he touches, something good happens. Again, how he scan. Take a look. Look, scan 3 times, and already, without even touching the ball, he already break Napoli's midfield line. This turn is something I like. We will see now in the next clips, because he does it so easy, so smooth. Again, how he waits. He's patient to wait between the lines. As I say, it's not a player that he needs to come to deeper zone. Also because Como, as I say, they are one of the best teams for me in Europe in deep build-up. So they have solutions to bring the ball to him between the lines. I understand if in other teams you maybe don't have this kind of players who can put balls between the lines, but in this case, Perrone or Caqueret or even the center backs, they have the qualities to put balls between the lines, to give progressive passes for Nico Paz to receive in that zone. Take a look in this case, how he turns, beats his marker, and that pass to Morata is amazing. Watch again. And yeah, that pass for me is crazy. And now there's another pass that is even better. We can see here how he moves to wide zones. In this case, I think it's against a 4-1-4-1. So for the holding midfielder, it's difficult to follow Nico Paz, especially when they switch play, to follow Nico Paz to this zone. You have the winger pinning the fullback, the position fullback. So it's easy for Nico Paz to receive into that zone. Take a look. The fullback decides to step, so the center back shifts to press the winger. But Nico Paz has the ability to, wow. And yeah, because you can say, okay, that was good. This turn was great. But then you can say maybe he's missing the last pass, this thing with many players, that they are great when they operate between the lines, but when it's time to put this ball into the space, to keep pass, they are missing this. But Nico Paz has also the ability to put that ball is even better than the one we saw before for Morata, and that this ends up in a goal. Let's watch again, because this is class, elite player. Remember, we are talking about a player who is only 21. So let's continue now with, I call this from positional to relational, let's say, because I think that now that we have seen their deep build up, we have seen that they are kind of a positional team. So we can consider them como that they follow positional rules in many situations, but as the play evolves, they are allowed to be a bit more relational. Some players gather together in wide zones, for example, and follow less positional rules. But first idea is to stay more positional, to have solutions with players staying in positions that they have been pre-established from coaches. But as the situation evolves, as the play is more mature, as players feel more confident and they need to find other solutions to attack a low block, a mid block, then they start to get more relationist, more they start to gather some players together, they become more dynamic, and yeah, I think it's one of the principles I like from Como. I think this is something we have seen in Mialbi, that we analyze here in our platform also, that they have very clear positional football moments, but they also can play the relational football. Let's take a look. We can see here the two midfielders and the advanced midfielder, Nico Paz, but how they end up gathering a lot of players here in the small spaces to combine. Take a look how pass and move and attack the space in behind, and great ball again from Nico Paz, and this ends up in a penalty against Fiorentina. Let's take a look again to the combination. Fantastic. These runs from the second line are difficult to defend, and this against these man-oriented systems are a good solution. We talk now about defensive. I will add three aspects about Como's defensive ideas. One is the press after lose. As I say already, the PPDA is one of the lowest in Europe. So we can see here the attitude of his players and the commitment when they lose the ball. Take a look, the reaction, how they move forward and try to get the ball back. We can see here many players, they kind of forget their direct opponents. And they go to take the ball, and the first seconds after losing the ball, they go all in, like similar to what we spoke about Bayern, and that's the reason why they are one of the teams with more high pressing intensity. And also, I think when we are talking a bit more about their midfield, players like Perrone, players like Caqueret, players like Nico Paz, and yeah, when we are thinking in other teams that they are more comfortable defending set pieces, defending lower blocks, and this, we don't think about Como. I think the kind of midfielders they have are very technical players, very smart players, very intelligent, but maybe if they will have to defend in a lower block, longer sequence, they will suffer. So I think what they do, something similar to PSG, let's say like this, with Vitinha, Joao Neves, Fabian. So at the end, they prefer to go all in to press after losing the ball than instead of tracking back and allowing the opposition to to attack them and position themselves more in a mid low block. So yeah, it also makes sense for the kind of players they have. So now we'll see the different role that the Cesc Fàbregas gives to their wingers. So we can see in this case, the right winger is more of a right wing back, and we can see the right fullback inside. So they are doing kind of a back 5-3-2 or 5-4-1, because this one is Nico Paz in the one pressing the ball. And so we can see one of the wingers higher up, ready for the transition, but the other winger has defensive responsibilities. Another example, the same. This is kind of a 5-4-1, 5-3-2, because Nico Paz sometimes is more, in this game against Fiorentina, it was more of a second striker, sometimes more of a right winger. But yeah, we can see the back three here with the right fullback inside, together with the two center backs, and the right winger dropping back. Another example, in this case against Napoli, we can see Diao following Di Lorenzo, and we can see the opposite winger, Adai. In this case, he has the job to press the center back, and he's ready also for the transition. We can see. So other teams, what they do in these kind of situations is they maybe keep the wingers higher up, but then they balance the defensive line with one of the midfielders. But Como, when they press high, they usually don't do it like this. They prefer to make one of the wingers drop, and we have seen this also from last season from Cesc. He likes to at least one of the wingers to drop and work and help the defensive line. We see now Adai ready for the transition. Another example, in the game against Napoli, we can see the same. Diao in this position, the left winger, and the right winger Adai higher up. And the last one, we finish. So yeah, this is about one of the midfielders balancing the defensive line. So we know Como defends with 4 players, but yeah, in many situations, especially when the opposition attacks you with 5, so you have 1 player less in your back line. So then you need one of the midfielders to help. But they do this especially in low block. So in box defending situations. We can see here how Perrone leaves his zone as a midfielder, and he goes to help the center backs, and in the box, man marking, trying to help to have 1 player more. This is another example. In this case, is Cunha, the other midfielder, how he tracks back very fast to help the team in the box and man mark. We can see here it's a 3v3 in the box. One example more. I think this is against Cagliari. Take a look. I think this is Perrone. Look the effort he makes to he can't arrive to cover the half space, I think, from this zone. So I think Kempef is the one going there, one of the center backs. So he helps and balance between the 2 center backs and then stays there. This is one of the reasons, or something I like from Cesc, and I think is one of the reasons why they don't concede many goals. I think the defensive commitment from players like Perrone is amazing. That's one of the reasons also I like a lot Perrone, not only with the ball. I think also his defensive commitment is amazing, and his understanding of when to drop to the back line also is great. And one more example, we can see how Perrone is already, when the ball moves to the side, is already checking what's going on in the box, and then he realizes he needs to help, so he drops and helps there defend the box. And we can see here that Como have 5 players, one more zonal, the first one, Kempef, and then the other ones, winger. I think in this case is winger and midfielder helping in the box. So in some situations we can see even 2 players, one of the wingers and one of the midfielders defending in the box. What we don't see is both wingers or both midfielders in this case. We always see one midfielder and or one winger. I think in more of a higher up in a higher block, in a mid block, we see more one of the wingers dropping, and in the low block we can see the midfielders balancing more the defensive line, especially Perrone. So yes, until here the analysis of Como. I hope you like it. Sorry for my English. I know it's not perfect. I still need to improve a lot, but yeah, hopefully it's good enough that you understand everything what I try to explain. Sorry also if I made some mistakes in saying the names of the players, but yeah, hope you enjoy it. Please drop your comments there. Subscribe to our channel that we can continue bringing more teams to here. Next week we have a surprise. Racing de Santander is coming to our YouTube channel. They are in top of Segunda División, second league in Spain. They are playing relational football, some interesting combinations, some beautiful football. So yeah, we will bring them to YouTube. So yeah, subscribe to our channel, give like, drop me more comments about what teams you would like me to take a look, and yeah, also I would like to remind you that we have a community. We already have more than 100 members from all over the world, and yeah, they are joining because we have a lot of services. We have every Sunday we give one game we give away one game in tactical camp for learning from different leagues, Premier League, Serie A, different Germany, different leagues, Champions League also. So yeah, we also have clips about modern trends in the world football. So we have individual aspects, we have collective aspects. So if we see one interesting build up in Germany from one team, we clip it and we upload it in our platform. And especially, I think one of the best things we have in our platform is the set pieces. So if we see one interesting set piece in Serie B in Italy, we upload them in our platform. For example, we have throw-ins from Midtjylland, which in Denmark, in the Danish league, that there are many interesting teams there doing some new ideas for set pieces. And yeah, we have other kind of services in our community. We have also a WhatsApp group where we upload these kind of clips that you have easier access. We also have group debates. We have now our YouTube channel. We also give team analysis to our WhatsApp group that you can see what teams we are talking about. We also, when there's some offers for coaches, for analysts, we put it there in the WhatsApp group. So yeah, hopefully you can join our community. We are growing. We have already more than 100 coaches and analysts. So yeah, you can visit our page, our website. And yeah, thank you so much for listening, and see you in the next video. See you.